When it comes to online ads, you probably mostly see them, or mostly block them, on your phone, your computer, or your smart TV, because after all, these are the screens that people spend the majority of their lives staring at, and so it makes sense that the companies who can control these screens would exploit them to constantly blast ads at you to consume the new product. But the multi-trillion-dollar online ad network is slowly creeping beyond these three primary screens, because these days, virtually every product in existence can have a screen, a speaker, and an internet connection attached to it, which is really all you need to turn any item into a glorified advertising machine. You go to the gas pumps and you're getting audio and video ads blasted at you the entire time you put fuel in your car. Then you get into your car, and if it's new enough to have one of those touchscreen dashboards instead of old knobs and dials, then it's not long until you're going to start getting hit with ads on that screen too. Ford actually filed a bunch of patents several years ago in order to show advertisements on these new dashboards. But Jeep, Mercedes, and Volkswagen have actually all started experimenting with showing ads to people in their dashboards in the last couple of years. It could be as subtle as an icon that pops up on your dashboard as you're driving down the highway and you're approaching an exit that has McDonald's nearby it. Or it could be something that takes up the entire screen telling you to purchase an extended warranty or go golfing somewhere every time you start up your car or you stop at a red light. Then you drive to the grocery store, hearing ads on the radio or on Spotify, and those ads occasionally might get interrupted by the car's in-dashboard ads because, of course, different companies are going to fight for control of the screen and the speaker used to blast ads at you. And if you go to Walmart for your groceries, then you're going to end up shopping at the mecca of ads. Some of the Walmarts I've been to literally project advertisements over a loudspeaker into the parking lot like it's the morning call to prayer. Just a voice over upbeat music telling you to consume the new product. And then there's different ads being played over the loudspeaker inside. You can actually get this weird effect when you stand by the entrance where you hear an ad in one ear and a different one in the other. And then the price scanners that you see in some of the aisles, those can have ads displayed on the screens too. You scan one product and then it tells you, hey, buy another. No, don't buy kidney beans, stupid. There's a sale on garbanzo beans. Buy what the ad tells you to buy. So after you've paid for your groceries, which probably involved an ad being displayed to you on the signature pad screen when you went to swipe your card, you pack up your groceries, you take them home, and you go to put them away. What do you think is going to be waiting for you on your new Samsung smart fridge? That's right, another advertisement right there on the screen, because Samsung has decided to show ads on their fridges now. You know, years ago, Samsung came out with these fridges that just have a big-ass tablet in the front of them, and I remember seeing them at one of the Best Buys that actually had them in the stores, and I was thinking, what exactly is the point of this, okay? Like, what are you going to do with a tablet on your fridge? I can see how maybe there's a little bit of novelty there. You know, it's connected to the internet. You can tweet from your fridge now. All of the practical things that people would use the fridge for, besides, of course, storing food inside, has already had a low-tech solution. Like if you want to keep a rolling grocery list of what you're running out of as you run out of it in the fridge, bam, just handwrite it and put it on the fridge with a magnet. Or if you want to put a picture up on the fridge, maybe it's a picture that your kid drew or it's a picture from the last vacation you went on, boom, just put it right there on the fridge with a magnet. Or a calendar to tell everybody in the family what you're going to be doing. That way you know when soccer practice is, and hey, it's right there on the fridge so that you don't forget the juice boxes. Just put it right up there with a magnet. But oh no, people like technology, so why don't we get away from all these handwritten notes and we'll just put it all in the tablet? Okay, that's an understandable, possibly convenient thing that you could do, but at the end of the day, you don't control that tablet. That tablet is controlled by Samsung, and now its primary purpose is going to be an advertising screen. People are finding out the hard way that they don't really own these $3,000 smart fridges because apparently there's no way to even disable these ads. They were pushed to fridges via an over-the-air firmware update, which is another reason to avoid these smart appliances, by the way. These automatic updates, they always seem to happen at the worst times, and oftentimes you can't even use the appliance while it's having its update. So you gotta sit around and wait for your fridge to reboot before you can get yourself some ice water. And what if the software update fails for some reason? Now you've got a bricked fridge. Like imagine that your power goes out or you have a network outage or anything that could possibly cause a software update to fail. A solar flare happens and boom, now your smart refrigerator is no longer working. It might even be so bad that it causes the cooling element in your fridge to fail and now all of your food goes bad. And you've got to imagine that if somebody's buying a $3,000 smart fridge, they've got to be stocking it with some pretty expensive food. Like just the amount of added complexity and additional failure points that get added to something like a refrigerator, something that you would think would be fairly reliable, is just mind-boggling. And it's so hard to imagine that for pretty much any consumer, like even a very tech-conscious consumer who's going to try out all the bells and whistles and all the features, it's really hard to imagine that all those additional features, any convenience that you gain from them, is going to be offset by the increased likelihood that your fridge just messes up, right? But of course, a lot of consumers, they're not even going to use a lot of these bells and whistles. They're not going to do a lot of research or a lot of consideration into the pros and cons of getting something like a smart fridge. But I'll tell you what, I bet you the first time that a lot of people see an advertisement on their fridge in their own home, it's going to change their tune and it's going to change the way they think about smart appliances. Now, Samsung said in an official statement to Android Authority that the ads are going to be displayed on the cover screen, which is what's displayed when the Family Hub screen is idle, but they said that the ads will not appear when the cover screen displays art mode or picture albums. So there might be a way to make the ads less intrusive. I mean, I'm sure they're still going to be there in some way. Maybe they're just going to be notifications that you see in the Family Smart Hub. Don't you love when ads are like that, when you think it's an email, like the ads you see in Gmail, for example, you think you got new mail, but oh no, it's really just an advertisement. Yeah, that's going to be great to see ads like that on your Family Hub. And of course, bypassing ads by selecting an artwork mode is just the current functionality of this Family Hub. Samsung can just decide to change how it works any way they want at any time through an additional over-the-air update. They could even decide to turn the fridge into a freemium appliance, right? Where any actual benefit that you would have gotten from a tablet attached to the fridge, which is really hard for me to imagine. Like if I really sit here and think, maybe you can remotely see what's inside. Like I know that there's cameras inside the fridge that allow you to see what's in there. So maybe you can remote into that with your smartphone, which then again, at that point, you're not really using the tablet. You're really just taking advantage of the cameras. But anyway, that feature there could become something that's freemium, right? Samsung could just decide to, I don't know, bake ads into the app that goes with the fridge. So now you're going to be sitting there at the grocery store watching an ad for 30 seconds on your phone before you can then remotely go into your fridge to see what's in there, when you could have just spent 30 seconds looking at the fridge, actually looking in there before you left the house to make yourself a grocery list of what you should have just gotten in the first place. I think we have truly reached the point of diminishing returns when it comes to consumer technology. Like for me at this point, when I'm comparing products, it's not even really about trying to figure out what's going to give me the best deal or, comparing features on say Android versus iOS. It's like, which one is going to give me the features I really want? No, most of my research, most of my time is spent figuring out which product is going to abuse me the least, because practically everything, especially anything that's smart, is going to try to screw you in some way. Like with these Samsung smart fridges, for example. And home appliances is where it really, really matters, because you've got to think these are things that you're going to have for a very long time. Like a fridge, I would say a refrigerator should last you at least 15 years on average, right? Like if it's a decent refrigerator. And with the Samsung smart fridges, I think the Family Hub, the tablet fridges came out in about 2016, okay? At least when I was working at Best Buy, that's how they were presented to me as new. So yeah, like people who bought these when they first came out, even if you were like a very, very early adopter, the fridge is less than 2/3 through its life. It's less than 2/3 to its mean time to replacement, and already Samsung is turning it into an advertising endpoint. So just stop and consider how much worse it's going to be and how much more people who bought these fridges and can't just afford to throw them out, how much they're going to have to deal with during their fridge's lifetime until they can finally downgrade back to something that doesn't have a screen bolted onto it that's just going to be used to blast ads at you. So that's pretty much the point of this video. Avoid anything that needlessly has a screen and a speaker attached to it, especially if the computer inside of it is one that you cannot control. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share it to hack the algorithm, and check out my online store, based.win, where you can buy my awesome merch or accessories for your phone or laptop. 10% store-wide discount when you pay with Monero XMR at checkout. Have a great rest of your day.